yeah, you. Hey, big piggy, big pig, pig. All of my fears came true. Black and blue and broken bones, you left me here all alone. My little piggy needed something new. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care anymore. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care. Nothing's turning out the way I planned. Hey, pig, there's a lot of things I hoped you could help me understand. What am I supposed to do? I lost my shit because of you. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care anymore. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care. Can't stop me. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me now. Nothing can stop me now. Nothing can stop. can't take it no more. Welcome back to the Last Begotten Postscript 11 Disease broadcast. I am your host, the half asleep begotten. And after a long and grueling day, I have decided to pull myself away from my quiet time with all this shit. And look at the utter chaos unfolding. Oh, we have artifacting here. Must undo the artifacting. There we go. Say hello, folks who are in here, if there's anybody in here. So this is a plumbing plan. Well, several attempts at a plumbing plan to include an ever-expanding clownfish grow-out system, an ever-expanding mangrove grow-out system, like an even further expanding mangrove grow-out system, with all the necessary base support systems to, support the systems. Okay, anyway. And this is one such system. Looks like fun, doesn't it? That's basically a seahorse grow-out stand right there. So that's, where you stand when you're growing out seahorses. Oh my god. Anyway. So I had made a broadcast yesterday and I forgot to, really show a good example of how exactly to set up what I recommend would be someone's first aquarium. What's up, Maximo? Thanks for drawing me, man. I was going to say I'm almost out of legal. I'm out of legal pad. I have another one around here somewhere, so I'm gonna have to. Maybe I'll just start writing on the backs of a relative. Usually, I only write on the backs of the page if I need to finish like more of that thing on like if it's on topic. I'll write upside down on the following page because legal pad's just I don't know. It's just weird the way it works to me. It's just not very practical to hold around. I don't know. So I have one space holder page left, and that was actually for the other drawing that I just showed you. And this is the one remaining write-up right here. And that is one attempt at a flying plan. And this is me drawing over my highlighter thing I was using to teach the girls about the flow pattern changes in the top tank earlier. Because Layla was fascinated, so I made the other one learn. One of them was fascinated, so the other one had to learn. Both of y'all come here and listen. Watch. Being a bossy teacher type person. Yeah, Ganju. I mean, Mai was just chasing after him, hitting him over and over again. I'm glad I was paying attention at the time because she probably was going to kill him. And I think it might be because of the black that's developing on his side. That's like this stripe that's coming in. Like connecting the first two stripes. What I was saying, the Picasso B type stripes. She's a really like a bizarrely intelligent fish. I mean that she's a strangely intelligent. It's the first thing I noticed about her when I saw her in reef coral 3 weeks before we bought her. I'm like, this fish is trouble, and she's just sitting there like she saw me. She came right up to me and she's like, I like you. You're not a moron. I'm like, you're trouble. For a fish to be smart enough to recognize that someone isn't a moron, that's a pretty smart fish for starters. And this fish has brilliantly arranged flow patterns in her tank. Like, she's gotten more and more creative, which, of course, she's going to be real pissed when she gets back in there now because, it's all different now. But she set up a barrier of rocks to keep the sand from getting disrupted on her little glass spot. She wasn't even trying to knock the pot down like I thought. She was literally making a wall. Like I had noticed her engineering skills and still underestimated them. But she's in the blue tub with 2 babies now. And I'm thinking about actually moving maybe some more babies in there and letting her pick one. But we have one with a single stripe, and we have one with a stripe that looks kind of like hers. If I do replace one of them or add one of them, I'm probably going to add another baby that has the most normal looking stripes and is the darkest as possible. Just hoping it, looks like her enough to where she accepts it, right? Like, my wife and I laughed because, like, the clownfish, it's fucking clownfish, seems more perceptively aware of her surroundings than most of the people you fucking pass at Walmart. That's for goddamn sure. Okay? That's all I'm saying. She's smarter than some fifth graders. Clownfish. I don't know if that's saying a lot about her or just like more than I want to know about humanity. Anyways, so I guess I could talk a little bit more about that eventually. Okay. And thanks for your Ganju's Fin conciliations. I'll send them your love, Maximo. If you ever move down here, I'll hook you up with some clownfish at the very least. Uh, we we uh we are planning on allowing for emergency housing and possibly some small rentals on this property we're gonna buy, but gonna look into all that. I'm still working on making sure I have every fucking thing that I need as opposed to everything I want, and trying to spend as little money as possible. And basically, I mean, in a nutshell, this is a giant floating fish tank. Okay, it's like, like people can walk through it, but like there's sunlights to save on electricity. There's angled walls to let sunlight in, but not too much sunlight in because you don't want to be like in a fucking gazebo. But gonna have mangroves growing basically throughout the entire exterior of the building, so there's no reason for those walls to be vertical. And the central like cube of the store is going to be one big giant fucking fish tank that uses the same wood that supports the building. So basically built-in fish tank. And that fish tank is going to be where I keep the larger fish that I hope to spawn, which, as gruesome as it sounds, will be fed by the innumerable amounts of reject clownfish that I can't bring myself to euthanize. Yep, they're going in the big tank. They're going to go in a few other places, but like, we got a lot of clownfish already. We're going to run out of room quick. So like, I mean, people want the good-looking fish. They don't want the deformed ones usually. But I can't bring myself to be like other fish breeders. I'll take a trip and find, okay, where are these supposed to live? I'll go bring them and let them back in the ocean or something. Call up the local park service or whoever runs the reef there in Solomon Islands. I have the parents, and this might be one of the reasons why the genetics are so varied as far as what's coming out of the offspring. One of the parents is an Indonesian. The mother is an Indonesian. The father is a Solomon Islands. When I first got him, if you look at the old videos, Bubbles was oranger and Zoom was yellower. Over time, Bubbles' orange has faded just a little bit, but Zoom has gotten a lot more orange because I think the variety of foods that he's getting in there with all the copepods and plankton that I add to the tank, his quality has improved. I don't know. It may be that the Picasso, being from the Solomon Islands, I think, or closer to the Solomon Islands, is a result of a more nutrient-rich environment. Because I definitely had more Picasso patterns forming when I used that 10-gallon grow out system that was a lot more dirtier than the attached system I had used previously. But I've gathered a lot of specific data on the different effects of temperature and environment and blah, blah, blah. Anyways. And got a lot more experimenting to do as I make some more beautiful clownfish. Or allow them to make some more beautiful clownfish. Help them make some more beautiful clownfish. Raise some more beautiful clownfish. Yeah. Ah. Just so well said, Max. Just so well said. Perceptive awareness is at such a low point. I'm shocked every time I go outside. Just shocked. It's like, what the fuck is going on? How do you people like live? Like how have all you survived this long? Like, how does this sustain? You know, like, it doesn't fucking make sense to me. People have gotten, I mean, we're already just careening towards idiocracy. Yeah. Honoring the reject clownfish by letting them live a natural life and more than likely die a natural death. Because like I said, that's going to be the brood stock for the bigger fish. Now, I'm not going to be raising any specific predators of clownfish, but, you know, some more aggressive fish will, you know, just decide to kill something. And something that's struggling, probably going to be annoying. Like I said, there's like a social structure in a given fish tank or in any given marine environment where they kind of recognize something is a waste of time. Like literally, like kind of like, I don't know, what our society lacks. The person who is a complete waste of oxygen and food, get them, you know, like, I mean, I don't think we should be that way, but like, you know, fish don't have like education and therapy and like the ability to improve each other. All they can do is just go nip off a motherfucker's fins. And you know, as satisfying as it might be to nip off somebody's fins, that's rude. You go to jail for that and shit. But anyways, it's unacceptable for fish, fucking marine fish. Oh my god, they might actually be smarter than us in general. Fish are fucking smarter than humans. I have absolute incontrovertible proof. It is unacceptable to fish, or at least marine fish, for there to be overpopulation. It just won't sustain. Whoever is the least fit is going to go. So they at least recognize that it's unacceptable. And again, they don't have therapy and education. They don't have the ability to actually, you know, to recognize something and make other attempts at correcting a situation. All they can do is, you know, nah. But we think that's all we can do. So what? We do nothing? Oh, for fuck's sake. But fish, if it starts getting too stinky, if stuff starts dying and getting covered in algae, for instance, if their environment seems polluted, they get stressed and they all start fighting with each other. And it becomes kind of a team effort to find out who's the weakest link, who doesn't belong there, who consumes more than their share, and it's just a weird series of ways that they pick things, like, because not only do they have different social structures within species and within groups of species, but there's different social structures within areas of the water and areas of the tank and levels of the tank and types of surfaces of the rock and who gets to eat what. And they'll just decide, okay, there's this much food for this person, there's this much swimming space for this, and sorry, somebody's got to go. Humans? Oh, I don't even know how to describe what we do. I don't even know how to describe what we do. We just, consume as much as possible. And then when shit starts getting stretched thin, we just blame each other until the point where either nothing gets done at all and just everything just deteriorates, bridges collapsing and shit like that, or there's a massive war and most of the tank mates die, like an ick outbreak or something else. Oh yeah, there's a super bug apparently. Huh. Well, look that up if you haven't heard about it. Might be something we want to start keeping track of. Non-resistant to antibiotics. I mean, non-responsive to antibiotics and spreading rapidly. Yay! Honoring the rejected clownfish. What a concept. Imagine if we just honored people who were intelligent, who were wise, who had accomplished things. Instead, what do we honor? Statistics? Oh, this new statistic just came out. Oh, really? That's very interesting. Studies show. Oh, studies. Oh, that's what people who don't already have basic fucking wisdom rely on. Yeah. Studies. Generally speaking, when somebody says studies show, they're literally trying to get you to stop thinking. They just want you to shut down. Same thing with fucking poll numbers. Oh, poll numbers just either make you exhaust yourself with frustration, or they make you just go, oh, fuck it. Like, how the fuck does 40% of anyone? I still, like, I've been driving around town quite a bit these past few days. I haven't seen any fucking Trump pin stickers. I live in the heart of fucking Civil War territory. Like, Ha! Where are all these Trump supporters that are phoning in on these polls, man? How, like, okay, if you were the KGB, would you infiltrate their pollsters? So are you calling the KGB stupid by saying that they haven't done this, or assuming such? Anyways. So what was I going to talk about? Fucking fish tank? Yeah, fish tank. Fish tanks. Yeah, that's the ticket. So here you go. Here is the basic beginner setup. And here's the reason why. You need your show tank, okay? On that stand right there, the bottom, I believe, measures 16 inches deep, okay, which is the result of adding two 2x4s or two 1x2s and then overlapping out an inch from there at the bottom. Very simple stand to build. All you got to do is have a big enough saw to cut a 2x12, which I happen to. On that stand, you can put a 29-gallon, which I have there, a 55-gallon, which will cover the whole stand and look rather glorious, or a 20 long, which is the same length as that one, only shorter. It's, you know, just like it's the height of a 10-gallon, just basically a foot tall. That one showed is 19 inches tall. And that's mine, Bob. Oh, Bob. Anyway. Poor little Bobby. I miss Bobby. But so goes experiments in clownfish breeding. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes the female kills the male. And that's what happened to Bobby. And that almost happened to Ganju tonight, as you saw in the last video. Anyways, or as you heard on the last video. Saw the aftermath of it. So, this is a pretty simple setup. And this is taking all beginner recommendations into effect of starting off with a sumped system. Okay. You have room on the side of this, if you choose a 29 or 20 gallon, for a cheap riggable auto top-off system. See that jug right there? Yeah, just rig that on the auto top-off lever on the 10-gallon at the bottom. You're good. 5 gallons. And then on the bottom right, you have your hospital tank, or initially your quarantine tank. And should anything goes wrong as you're adding your stock slowly but surely over the next year or two, there you are. You have your quarantine tank. And whenever the fish in the tank start to get sick, you put them down there. And if they start to get aggressive in the smaller tank, put a divider in there. Break them up. And you can use that time to get your tank pristine and let it run without fish. And I'll go in on ick treatments on another time. But I think we've covered that enough on the previous fish tank videos. Speaking of poor Bobby. So if you want to have a nice reef at the top with no hang on the back filters there, you have room on the bottom 10 gallon. Okay, and you can do everything with flow down there. You can put your skimmer down there, and your micro bubbles stay in the 10 gallon instead of being a big pain in the ass up at the top. And this allows you to add your fresh water to the bottom tank, so it doesn't shock your corals or your system in general. And gives you extra space. I mean, there's lots of interesting things you can keep in that little exhibition sump. I mean, it's a show sump. And then once everything's stable, once you get to where most people would get bored with their tank because it's full of fish, you can't add any more fish. Well, you got your quarantine tank. It's not doing anything. You got all your fish. None of them are sick. Time to set up another little 10 gallon. And there you go. So anyways, I really just wanted to go into the details of the advantage of that tank. I don't know what the hell I got on the big ass tangent for. I guess just being astonished about how smart Mai was in relation to some of the people I saw today. But you know what? Still, none of them had Trump stickers on their cars. It's kind of astonishing. Kind of astonishing. Anyway. So that's all for tonight. Thanks for hanging out. If you didn't see the music at the beginning, go ahead on back and see it. I don't think you were here yet, Max. I played Piggy. 9 Inch Nails, That's why the guitar's right there. On my shoulder. Shrunk a little tiny. Look, it's a violin. Wait, how do you mirror playing a violin this way? Alright, that was stupid. Anyway, I guess I could try to look at this thing and see if I feel like yeah, alright. There we go. This is actually a great list of reasons, additional advantages that I wasn't thinking of just now on why this setup is good. Okay, so with the top off at the bottom, you don't have system shock because it's a sump, right? And it increases oxygen exchange because of the surface skimming and because of the whatever you have down there at the bottom and the way the water flows into the bottom and drops and sloshes into the bottom tank and then gets pumped back up. That's full oxygenation of water. The bottom tank needs to be considered a pod refugium, and animals that actively hunt pods should not be considered. So foulfish, a mandarin, I think damsels, like a pair of clownfish that stays in one place, fine. Seahorses that eat brine shrimp and can't really go pod hunting, just fine. There's, a few different fish you can have down there. Great place to keep your pair of clownfish. If you just like to have a pair of clownfish, but you want more room in your top tank, move them down there in your sump later on. But those pods will spawn, and their offspring will be planktonic, but still have relatively hard shells. And what happens is they form these big old swarms right around your return pump. And I mean, it's basically because there's so many swarms of them that they wind up around the return pump just by, like, running out of space, and they get sucked into your return pump. So then you have fresh live food constantly getting sprayed back into your top tank. And all the predators in your top tank can't exhaust the source because it's in the bottom tank. So, temperature regulation. I find that having a heater in the top tank and a heater in the bottom tank is much better than having one or the other. The reason being because you can use lower wattage for the total volume and not have one high temperature heater. And they won't always be working at the same time. And what you'll find is that, people complain a lot about the accuracy of heaters, but it's more about the accuracy of fish tanks. There's a lot of different currents and different things going on in your fish tank and in your house and the air surrounding it. And not only do you have, with two heaters, two smaller heaters, a more persistent option for overkill when, cold weather strikes, each one being a little bit more than is needed, just like usually you would get a heater that is a little bit more than needed, a single heater more than needed. But then you also have two sensors. So if you have cold air blasting your sump, but not your top tank, and your heater in your top tank, or your heater's in your top tank, and the sensor isn't picking up the cold air blasting from your return pipe, it's not going to be heating up the total volume of the water. It's going to be leaving part of it cold, and maybe even overheating the part where it is, or if it's remaining stagnant. That's a big thing to avoid with your heater, is letting the water around it be stagnant. You want flow over your heater. You want that heater to be heating up all of the water. And, the two heaters gives you two sensors. And, can't go wrong with redundancy in general. pH regulation. Now, you probably don't want to have a tank full of rock impeding flow and the fish's ability to swim. Fish like to swim, they fish. They need water to swim in. They can't swim through rock. People like to put a wall of rock because it looks pretty. You need a really big tank for that to work, and you got to spend a whole lot of money keeping the water from getting stagnant behind there and just forming just a cesspool of fish poo. Anyways, you keep crushed coral and, calcium carbonate based live rock in fresher supply in your sump down there, and the food that drops in your tank won't be getting sucked up a whole lot into the return pipe. It'll be dropping down into the tank. Some of it, if you got flake food that floats on top of the tank, that might go right into your overflow box. So you got to watch for that. But all the pods will take care of what food makes it down there, and they'll keep the detritus from building up in between the rocks. As long as there's flow, you can't have too much stagnant areas down there, or else you'll have to take, like you would in a freshwater tank, siphon, and just siphon out the gravel down there. Whereas in the top tank, what you want to do is just go up there and stir it and let that water cycle down to the bottom so it get clean. And what you do for pH regulation, on top of just keeping a sufficient amount of crushed coral, live sand, live rock, is you keep that light in the bottom tank on as a night light. See, photosynthesis helps saltwater maintain its pH. It helps maintain the chemical balance of saltwater. And having photosynthesis in the bottom tank at night helps stabilize the top tank. And also having the nighttime cycle with the critters coming out in the lights off sump during the day helps stabilize everything and helps all the excess food and nutrients get eaten. Especially if you have a fish in your sump, you want to keep them nocturnal so they're not interfering with the pod's cleanup activity. And if you don't have a fish in your sump, the pods will pretty much feel free to roam after a while. And then you can turn your light on 24 hours a day down there in order to grow plants. And you get plants growing, you just basically grow them like a little garden of filtration. And instead of cleaning a filter, you're just pulling plants out of the bottom tank, trimming the weeds, and that's absorbing all the bad nutrients. And you just got to make sure you're adding some essential elements, or cking has some products that help plants grow. They got what plants crave, like electrolytes and shit. Anyway, so I guess I'm done with all that. That really is, I just wanted to focus on that. If you're thinking about getting a fish tank, pick out a nice top tank. Use a little 10-gallon one side, 10-gallon on the other side at the bottom. Set one of them up as your sump. Put your skimmer in there or whatever. Set the other one up as your hospital quarantine just isolation chamber. And whenever you get your fish in, you put them in there. Keep them in there at least 2 weeks before you put them in your main system. Make sure they're healthy. Make sure they're good. Make sure they didn't pick up anything. Even if you were watching them at the store, you want to watch them there for a while. And you can go, and what I was saying in the last video is you can go buy your fish before your tank is cycled. Like, oh, I want a fish tank. Oh, I got to wait a month? No. You might have to do a lot of water changes, but you can put a hang on the back filter on a bare bottom tank, and guess what? You can clean the filter. Oh my God, you can clean the filter? Yes, you can just clean the filter. Clean the filter every day. Just take that little foam out, go to the sink, rinse it out. Get a little bowl. Put the biomedia. If you got the biomedia in there, put the biomedia in a bowl. Keep the biomedia. Let it cycle. They got bacteria in a bottle. I mean, one little piece of dust from your fish tanks, from your fish store. Tell them to put a little sand, just a pinch of sand in the bag with your fish. Sprinkle that sand inside the freaking filter. That biomedia activate. Put the biomedia in a bowl. Just go take your freaking little sponge to the sink once a day, and you just have your fish in a bare bottom glass tank with a little aqua clear hang on the back filter over there. Meanwhile, you got your protein skimmer and your return pump and maybe 1 or 2 power heads cycling your top tank and your sump. And if you're really attached to the fish, before you put the fish in there, You can go buy like a really cheap coral, like a cheap bird's nest frag, or a mushroom, or some glove polyps. And slowly acclimate it. Oh, another advantage to the sump thing. I can lift that lid because the 10-gallon sits out further forward. I can lift the lid, put a bag in there, and acclimate something by slow dripping from the top tank while it sits in the bottom tank. Then when it's ready to go, just move it on up to the east side in the deluxe fish tank in the top shelf of the stand. Okay, clearly this video has gone on too long. Thanks for watching, everybody. And just checking to see if I had any questions there. I'm going to get back to work with my massive aquaculture crap while I still have some breath of life in me. Oh, come here, breath of life. Oh, breath of life. Running low. No, excuse me, water of life. Water of life. I need to get my cheesy phrases right. So anyway, y'all take it easy. Thanks for chatting, Maximo. And feel free to get any kind of questions together you want for me on this stuff. I've forgotten more than most people fucking know about this crap. That's not the ones that I have now. They're opposite. And the coloration is really weird on that plant. That one wasn't red like that. Thanks for watching. Click the like button. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, click the little dingy bell button thing so you get the notifications. Make sure you subscribe. Back to raise out of another thing. I know it's in my heart, and baby, down in my soul. You, baby, you can't take it no more. No, I know I'm walking out that door the way you treated me too many times.